Here we go. All right, let me share the screen. So here we go. All right, here we go. And let me bring, okay, because we have two new people, I'm going to go through these exhibits, uh, and because these are very important. And for the people who are new, it's very helpful. Bito has seen it a few times, but it is it's good to see it again. I learn from it every time, and I have seen it a few times. So first we talk about egoic mind. Egoic mind is your ego, I, my name, my belongings, my entity, my everything related to I. It's ego, and you guys probably know about it. Okay, this I learned from my father and some other Sufi. This is very well known into definition of egoic mind or ego. So the Sufis, they teach us that from the combination of God's spirit and human body made up of soil and stinking mud. This word stinking mud is from Quran. So from the combination of these two, human beings was made. Human being is a combination of God's spirit and human body, which is made up of soil and stinking mud. And then from that human being, two entities were born: a soul and egoic mind. Soul took after God's spirit, and egoic mind took after soil and stinking mud. And as I mentioned before, egoic mind is I, my name, uh, uh, my belongings, and my identity. Everything related to I is egoic mind. Then from egoic mind, two more entities was born, which is lost and anger. Two attributes. That's a better word. Two attribute. Lost and anger. Lost is lusting for everything and pursuing likes, and anger is rejecting dislikes. And Sufis teach us to keep these two in moderation. Okay. Now after this, we're going to another to a triangle, which is called attachment to temporary things. Attachment to temporary thing, and we are bound by time. So when we were born, in our core there was nothing. Nothing was in our core. After we were born, by being in a society, learning from our parents and people around us, our siblings, friends, and everything around us, we get attached to things. And those attachments come to our core. And from the attachments, we get sense of security, guidance, power, intellect, and intelligence. These are what we get. And since we have this attachment in our core, we get resistance. We have resistance in us. We resist to the events, and we have judgment. We judge things, and we are attached to temporary things, and we have material intelligence. Material intelligence, and we live in past and future, and we are bound by time. Okay, so this is the first triangle we are studying here. And now we go to this one, which is a detachment from temporary things. So after we got attached, now we are in the path and journey to detachment from temporary thing. Now when we detach, the core, which has a lot of attachments, would be emptied, and we have nothingness in our core. So sense of security, guidance, power, and intellect and intelligence comes from nothingness. Here we had material intelligence. In this triangle, we get spiritual intelligence. Here we had past and future. In this one, we get eternal presence. We are always in presence. In this one, we had resistance. In this one, we have patience and abstinence. We acquire the quality of patience. In this one, one we had judgment. Here we have gratitude and abstinence. And so this is where we want to go. And this is not, you don't go from attachment, 100% attachment to 100% purity and nothingness. We go in steps. And as long as we are removing attachments, we are successful. You know, you can go from 1,000 attachments to 999, with more power to you. Go to the next one, and next, and next, and next. Now we go to the myth of egoic mind, the myth of ego. All right, the myth of ego. Here we have this attachment triangle that we had. Now we have these things around it, right? The myth of egoic mind. And here we already talked about this, right? So you know about this. You have past and future. Now these are stuff that myth of egoic mind will have. We are creating obstacles and looking for them. Egos, everybody with ego, with create obstacles and look for them. That's just a function of the ego. That's what it does. That's its nature. That's its function. You cannot change it. Everybody who has ego is creating obstacles and looking for them. Ego create problems and look for them. Just the nature of it. That's its function. It creates enemies and looks for them. If it doesn't have enemy, it will create one. If it doesn't have a problem, create one and look for them. If it doesn't have obstacles, create one and look for them. That's the job and function of egoic mind or ego. Now, this is the situation that the majority of people are, and we want to graduate from this. We want to convert from this situation to this guy, truth of being human. This is detachment and returning to this moment. So in this situation, we have nothingness in our core. The attachments that we had, it's going to go to the outside of the circle. We all have belongings, money, power, family, attachments, but the attachments do not control us. They go to the outside, they stay in the outside, they don't control us. In this situation, we have eternal present, right? We have spiritual intelligence, and we have patience, gratitude. We discussed that. Now we have joy without a cause. Joy without a cause. We are joyful for no reason. People who have egos and they are in the state of egoic mind, they become joyous and happy because they gain something. Their attachments are increased. Not in the case of the true human beings. The true human beings, the ones who have removed the attachments from their core, they have joy without a cause, and they have enthusiasm for creation and ability to create. They create things. They create things uh, without even any trying. Without and one on this angle, I forgot to put this. They accept. They have attribute of acceptance. They accept event of this moment. They accept event of each moment. Now, when you're accepting it, doesn't mean that you don't want to change it. Maybe maybe God forbid one is poor, but they accept the fact of being poor, the event of being poor. But you can change it, but you have to first accept it. And the change doesn't happen. The other important matter is that you don't change with your egoic mind. You don't change with your mind. You let the change come from the wisdom of the universe. You let the wisdom of the universe change you, not your mind. Are you guys get any question on these one, two, three, four, five exhibits? Is it clear? Okay. So I hope that was clear. Okay. So Roxana, you said you liked it, huh? Okay, that's good. All right. Now, since we did this one, let's now go to uh, continuation of what we have done last time. We got to this one. This is okay. Let me read the poem first for the ones who have not been here. This is poem number 2733 from Divan Shams. As I mentioned, this is a poem. This is a love poem. Basically, Rumi uh, love messages to God, life, universe, love. Okay, I would do the Persian, so you guys, you know, for Sarah, she knows Persian, so she understands, she gets it. I mean, she hears them, and for the ones who don't know Persian, it is good to hear the music of the word. The word with more with Rumi is sacred. And it is the same as the same as religious books like Quran, Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. Words are sacred, and he uses sacred words. ای وصل تو آب زندگانی تدبیر خلاص ما تو دانی. Oh, connecting to you is the water and essence of my life. You know the way and direction to my liberty. So we know from this poem that Rumi tells us we are in a prison because he's saying we get liberated. When you get liberated, that means we are in a prison. We are in the prison of our ego. از دیده برون مشو که نوری ز سینه جدا مشو که جانی. Please don't move out of my vision because you are the light of my life. Please don't leave my heart because you are my life. آن دم که نهان شوی ز چشمم می نالد جان من نهانی. When you hide from my eye, I am crying in my heart, in my loneliness. من خود چه کسم که وصل جویم از لطف تو هم همی کشانی. Who am I to connect to you? You are the one that with your grace and blessing attract me and connect me to your core. So here Rumi tells us we cannot connect to the source. We cannot connect. He has to attract us. We don't have the power. We don't have the means. He is God, the one who can do that. And that's because of his grace and blessings. ای دل تو مرو سوی خرابات هرچند قلندر جهانی. O heart, don't attempt to destroy your ego by yourself, although you are a saint of the world. Because, in order to connect to the source, you have to destroy your ego, and you cannot do it by yourself. That's what he's saying. کانجا همه پاک باز باشند ترسند که تو کم زنی بمانی. Because over there everybody is ready to lose and gamble all they have for their salvation. I'm afraid you are not strong enough to accomplish this goal. All right. ورزانک روی مرو تو با خویش در پوش نشان بی نشانی. Don't attempt this road with your ego and self. Wear clothing that has no sign of self and ego. Self and ego does not work in the salvation and in seeking and joining the beloved. It doesn't work. مانند سپر مپوش سینه گر عاشق تیر آن کمانی. Don't cover your chest with a shield if you love that bow. پرسید یکی که عاشقی چیست؟ گفتم که مپرس از این معانی. One asked me what is the meaning of loving, and I told him don't ask this type of question. It cannot be put into words, basically, love. آنگه که چو من شوی ببینی آنگه که بخواندت بخوانی. When you become like me, then you will see. When he calls and searches for you, then you will cry out for him. مردانه درآ چو شیر مردی دل را چو زنان چه می تپانی. Be a man of courage and start your spiritual journey. Why is your heart so weak and racing and pounding due to fear and anxiety? ای آنک تو باغ و بوستان را از جور خزان همی رهانی. Oh, you are the one that liberates and frees gardens from the hardship of autumn. That basically uh, directs to us, points to us that we are like a garden, that we are in the hardship of autumn, and love will liberate us from that hardship. ای داده تو گوش پاره ای را در گفت و شنود ترجمانی. Oh, you are the one who gave a piece of meat the ability to speak and hear, tongue and ear. Here, Rumi says that the tongue doesn't speak. This is your spirit, your soul that speaks. The ear doesn't hear. This is your spirit who hears. The ear and tongue are the tools, but they're not the one who hear and talk. ای داد زبان انبیا را با سر قدیم همزبانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the prophets the ability to understand the secret of eternity and communicate this secret with others. ای داد روان اولیا را در مرگ حیات جاودانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the spiritual masters in death eternal and everlasting life. In death means death to the ego. Death in terms of ego, not death in the terms of body, in ego. ای داد تو عقل بدگمان را بر بام دماغ پاسبانی. Oh, you are the one that protects the intellect with the inquisitive mind. ای آن تو هر شبی ز خلقان این پنج چراغ می ستانی. Oh, you are the one that every night takes the five senses from people in sleep. ای داد تو چشم گل رخان را مخموری و سحر و دلستانی. Oh, you are the one that gave the eye of stunning girls the enticing and attractive beauty. ای داد تو عشق را به قدرت مردی و نری و پهلوانی. Oh, you are the one that gave love its strength and courage and bravery and heroism. این بود نصیحت سنایی جان باز چو طالب عیانی. This was the advice of Sanai, another famous Sufi master. Gamble and lose your life if you want to see the beloved with your eyes. شمس تبریز نور محضی زیرا که چراغ آسمانی. Oh, you Shams from Tabriz, you are the pure light because you are the illumination of the sky and heaven. Now in Rumi, when he talks about Shams, he talks about Shams as a person and the Shams inside of all of us. Every one of us have a Shams, which is the light of your heart, of our hearts. That's what he is directing to Rumi here. All right. And when he says gamble and lose your life, not not that to die your body, is to die in ego. It's not about the body. Rumi wants you to be around for 100 years and have a good time. He says lose your ego because ego does not allow you to have a good time. It would ruin your life. It has ruined our lives up to now, doesn't it? Look at yourself. I mean, everybody has that problem. All right, we have already gone through this, and if you want to review it, please go to the recordings on YouTube, and you'll see it. So we were here, but I have to read this to in order to understand this. عاشقان از بیمرادی های خیش. This is a beautiful poem, by the way. عاشقان از بیمرادی های خیش با خبر گشتند از مولای خیش. This is book 3, 4466. If Roxana, if you want to look into this, good look at this. Please make a note and look into this poem. 3-446, book 3, verse 4466. By their failures to achieve success, the lovers are made aware of their Lord. So if we become lovers from failures, we become aware of our Lord. بیمرادی شد قلاووت بهشت. حفت الجنه شو ای خوش سرشت. Failure is the guide to paradise. Hear this. Oh, you the good-natured individual. Paradise is surrounded and encircled with pain. Think about it. We are avoiding pain. We are escaping pain. We are moving away from pain. And Rumi says, this is what you need. This is paradise. Paradise is surrounded and encircled with pain. This is verse number 4467, book 3, verse 4467, 4467. As soon as lovers fail to achieve success, they get message of life and don't get hurt. For example, if you wanted to go park and it rained, you want to park outside, and it rained, so you felt failure. You love somebody and wanted to marry him and or her, and he married somebody else. I was about to get hired for my favorite job or wanted to purchase a home and somebody else got it. These are failures in life, right? So Rumi says these are things that make you aware of your Lord. And these are things that encircle your paradise. If you get mad and feel hurt when these events took place, it means you had these in your heart and you have to let go of it. Therefore, in every unfortunate matter, we should look for a message and learn from it. Look at this. The way Rumi sets it up, nobody has failures. The failures is good for us. You cannot go wrong with this. Can you go wrong with this? Everybody gets have failure. They get upset. They get mad. We all get mad and upset. But Rumi says it's good for you. There is a message for you. You are attached to that thing. So empty your heart from it. That's what he says. Now, this one came from a hadith, we say in Iran, in Farsi, we say hadith, which is a prophet saying code. Huffatul jannat bil makkara wa huffatul nar bil shahawat. This is the Arabic word. Heaven is surrounded by undesired things, and hell is surrounded by greed. So people who have a lot of money and have a lot of greed, we think they are in heaven. No. In reality, they are in hell. They are in hell. That's what it says here. Undesired things are the events that we thought are good for us and did not take place. We should open our heart and understand that these desires were not important. Yes, obviously, it is hard for us to digest them because it is undesirable to our minds. Our job is to find the message and improve our spiritual growth. Anything that is in our core and we have the strong desire to fulfill it, you're going toward hell. That's hell. Any desire in heart is hell. Any attachment is hell. Any expectation, as Buddha says, and Bita knows better than me, is hell. We think in our small minds and we are going toward heaven, but that is myth and huge misunderstanding. In our small mind, when we have a desired event, we think we are going to heaven for that, but it's really hell. In another verse, Rumi teaches us the following: there is two doors facing you, one of them fire in front of them, the other water in front of it. This is how the mind sees them. The fire one, when you enter, you have to be patient and take the spiritual pain, and then you enter, and after you enter, you reach water. So the door that has fire in front of it, which is pain, which is symbol of pain. If you get into it, it is water, right? The other one, water in front, and you like it. But when you enter, you reach fire and unnecessary pain. The first one, the first one, you have necessary pain, good pain. We have two kinds of pain, Rumi says. There's two kinds of pain: good pain and bad pain. Good pain is when it is for spiritual growth. Bad pain and unnecessary pain when we are in pursuit of our attachments and greed. That's what Rumi says right here. Look at it, please. گفت از بانگ و علالای سگان هیچ واگردد ز راهی کاروان. He said to himself, does a caravan ever turn back from a journey on account of the noise and loud bark of dogs? This is book 6, verse 12. This verse is here to remind you to not pay attention to the noise and of your ego and people around you. In the path of spiritual salvation, do not pay attention to your ego and other people's ego. Your ego is going to bother you and distract you. The other ones do the same thing. They come after you. Ego doesn't want you to succeed in your spiritual path. Obviously, here Rumi tells us, you have ever seen the caravan turn back from a journey due to the noise and loud bark of dogs? Let me fix this, please. And loud bark of dogs. No, you also, as a lover, travel through your spiritual path and don't listen to the noise of egos around you. چه لطیفی و ز آغاز چنان جباری چه نهانی و عجب این که در این غوغایی. He's directing to God, Rumi. You are so delicate. He's directing to God. He's talking to God here. His audience is God. And from the beginning enforce the laws of universe. You are so hidden, but still exist in the noise and ups and downs of the world. Divan Shams, poem number 2890. God is pure delicacy, pure beauty. And for us, he comes to this noise, to this troubled area, to this bazaar. You see, he comes to us because he loves us. He wants to save us from our troubles and ego. And he comes into this noisy world. Look at this. This is how Rumi it tells us. Now you should ask yourself, am I from the essence of life and delicate? But at the same time, I need to obey the laws of universe. God enforces his laws, the law of compensation, the law of patience, the law of gratitude, the law of commitment and coordination. One of the most important laws of universe is as follows. I understand that the major intellect works and the intellect of the egoic mind does not work. There is two types of intellect, Sufi says, including Rumi. One is a major intellect, which is the intellect and wisdom of God. The other one is the intellect of the ego, which is stupid. Stupid. It's good for the world, to make a money, to make a buck here, to do this and that. But it doesn't, for spirituality, is nothing. It's very stupid. This mind is based on greed and increasing the attachments, and it will ultimately fail. This mind, which is the intellect of the egoic mind, which Sufi called minor intellect. هست مهمانخانه این تن ای جوان هر صباحی ضیف نو آید دوان. This body, O youth, is a guest house. Every morning a new guest comes running into it. We are like a guest house, Rumi says. This is book 5, 3644. هین مگو کین ماند اندر گردنم که همکنون باز پرد در عدم. Beware, do not say this guest is a burden to me, because immediately he will fly back into non-existence. The guest here is symbolic, is a symbol of thought, a thought. هرچه آید از جهان غیب وش در دلت ضیف است او را دار خوش. Whatsoever comes into your heart from the invisible world is your guest. Entertain it well. Basically, Rumi here says that whatever thought comes to you comes from that side. Comes from that side, the other side. Therefore, our mind is like a guest house. Life shows us something, and that has a message for us. You open the space and your heart and get the message. You don't complain or react or say this guest is a burden to me because it will leave you and will not deliver its message. So each event, each thought has a message. That's what Ruby says. لیک حاضر باش در خود ای فتا تا به خانه او بیاید مر تو را. But always be present, attentive, and ready in yourself, O youth, in order that he may find you at home. So when the message comes, you have to be there to take it, right? If the postman comes and you're not there, he will not give you the envelope. Or the gift. ورنه خلعت را برد او باز پس که نیابیدم به خانه‌اش هیچ کس. Else he will back his gift of honor saying, I found nobody in the house. Right? He wants God, which is sending the thought to us, is sending us a gift, a message, and we are not attentive to it, and nobody is there to accept the gift, so they take it back. They take it back. They won't deliver it. If you are lost in your mind, then you are not present in yourself, which means you have not opened a space and not expanded your heart. Listen and find out what message the universe has for you at this moment. Find out what your attachments are. What is your pain? Who do you have to forgive? Otherwise, the universe will take the gift from you because nobody was present in your being to accept the gift. Look how Rumi looks at it. Beautiful soul, beautiful saying. It is a gift. We think it's a burden. Rumi says, no, it's a gift. I found nobody in the house. If we had nothing in our core and opened the space and heart, he would have found us in the house and give us the gift. We are busy with our attachment. So we don't pay attention to the gift. That's what Rumi says here. As long as you're busy in your mind and we are not present in our heart, he cannot deliver the gift and we take back the gift. How many gifts we have refused to take? زانک استکمال تعظیم او نکرد زانک استکمال تعظیم او نکرد ورنه نسیان در نیاوردی نبرد زانک استکمال تعظیم او نکرد ورنه نسیان در نیاوردی نبرد. Because he who was forgetful did not attain to complete reverence, or else forgetfulness would not have attacked him. This is book 5, verse 4102. We do not attain to complete the reverence. Reverence means to diminish the egoic mind to zero, to nothing, not thinking on the basis of it. You may open the space around your heart and then forget it. Don't remember God. We should not allow this situation happen to us and be alert and make sure that we don't forget to open our heart every moment. See, sometimes, especially the one who come to these meetings and listen to Rumi and Buddhism and other spiritual paths, they are sometimes they open their heart. We open their heart and then we close it again. We open, we close. We open, we close. Rumi says, keep it open. Keep it open forever. So let the gift come to you. Let the gift come to you. Because the reason he says here, we didn't do the reverence, that's why we forgetful. We forget about the presence. We forget about opening our heart. See, we are not completing the reverence. That's what Rumi says here. چیست تعظیم خدا. Then Rumi defines the ta'zim, which is reverence for us. چیست تعظیم خدا؟ چیست تعظیم خدا؟ افراشتن خیشتن را خار و خاکی داشتم. چیست تعظیم خدا؟ افراشتن خیشتن را خار و خاکی داشتن. What is the meaning of glorify and praise God? To deem yourself low and worthless as dust. Which your ego, because the other one is God. The other one is from the essence of God. Your soul is from God. We just showed in that exhibit, right? Your ego is worthless. That's what he says here. Low as dust. You see, it says stinking mud. You remember? It's dust. Not your true self, but your ego, which is truly worthless. چیست توحید خدا آموختن خیشتن را پیش واحد سوختن. By the way, this one was the book 13008. You see the numbers. I have addressed every, so you can go back and look at it. What is the meaning to learn the knowledge of God's unity, to consume and deplete yourself in the presence of the One? To deplete yourself in the presence of the One. گر همی خواهی که بفروزی چو روز هستی همچون شب خود را بسوز. Wow, beautiful. If you wish to shine like day, burn up your night like self-existence. That's what Rumi calls the ego. Night-like, night-like. Dark, dark. It's dark. زان که استکمال تعذیب او نکرد ورنه نسیان زان که استکمال تعظیم او نکرد ورنه نسیان در نیاوردی نبرد. Because he was forgetful, did not attain to complete reverence, or else forgetfulness would not have attacked him. So as long as we don't complete the reverence, the forgetfulness will attack us. We will close our heart. We will close ourselves to light, God's light, and we won't succeed. Here Rumi indicates that everyone diminishes that reverence. I'm sorry. Here Rumi indicates that reverence diminishes the ego to zero. To deem yourself low and worthless as dust, you become the essence of God. But when you get absorbed in your mind and do not attain to complete reverence, but claim that you are perfect, God cannot help you. What is unity? It means that you know that there is nobody but God. This is in Arabic, we say, La ilaha illallah. There's no God, but Almighty God. Every moment we need to recognize the small egoic minds and get rid of them. If you want to shine like day, burn up your night like self-existent, which is your egoic mind. شرط تسلیم است نه کار دراز سود نبود در زلالت ترکتاز. What is required is self-surrender, not a long daily grind. It is useless to rush about in error. Basically, if you're not self-surrendering, you are in error. We are in error all the time. The requirement of being effective is to open our hearts to the events that we encounter every day and don't resist or protest. It is the acceptance. It is the acceptance of the events that at each moment. The requirement is self-surrender, not going to the mind and long daily grind. It is beneficial to rush about in our error and confusion in our minds. We know if we resist or protest and don't accept the event of each moment, we will contract and we must seek remedy for it. We contract when we don't accept the event. See, when you resist, you contract. For the resistance, you have to contract, and that's closing the heart. On the contrary, if we feel the expansion in our heart, you must strengthen it. Water your expansion and share its fruits with our friends. Strengthen your expansion of heart. Now here it says, قبض دیدی چاره آن قبض کن زان که سرها جمله می روید زبون. You have felt the contraction. Seek a remedy for it, because all heads grow from the bottom root. Book 3, verse 362. If you feel contracted, it means an attachment has occupied your core. The remedy is to expand your heart and empty the attachments from your core, because all heads grow from the bottom root, meaning the contractions grows from the attachment in your core. That's a big lesson, right? Whenever we get contracted, whenever we are closing our mind, our heart, I'm sorry, closing our heart, because mind is already egoic. Closing your heart, closing our heart, that means we are putting an attachment in the core. بس دیدی بست خود را آب ده چون برآید میوه با اصحاب ده. You have felt the expansion, water your expansion, and when the fruit appears, give it to your friend. All Masnavi and all works of Rumi is the fruit of his expansion, and he is sharing with us. He considers us a friend, which is an honor, isn't it? We are honored to be friends of Rumi, and he's sharing his expansion with us. He's sharing the fruits of his expansion. When you feel the expansion in your heart and you realize that the space has opened inside you, keep doing it, and the fruit appears. Now you are the workshop of God, and the universe is working on you to improve you. New patterns will surface in your life. You will experience joy without cause. Now share it with your friends. Whenever you feel contracted, don't spread it around, and don't allow your negative vibrations to affect others. Now, Bita Khanum, it's 8:01. What do you think? Bita is our.
Yes, I think it's a good place to stop. Yeah,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. It was
Yes,
very
ma'am.
informative. Mhm.
Yes. Any
Oh, yeah.
questions, comments, concerns, please?
Maybe if I ask a question about the self-surrender a little bit above, was it? Do you have a little bit more to explain? Yeah, not a daily grind. Yeah, stop a little down, scroll down. Yeah, here.
Well,
What is required is self-surrender, not a daily long grind. It is
okay.
useless, yeah, to rush about in error.
Here. Let's come from here, my dear. Let me show you.
Okay.
Okay. شهر تسلیم است نه کار دراز. This is the one.
Mhm.
شهر تسلیم است نه کار دراز. سود نبود در زلالت ترکتاز. What is required if self-surrender? Taslim means surrender, basically. You know that, right? Taslim in Persian, in an Arabic, Musalman means taslim, basically.
Yeah.
Musalman means taslim, means surrendered. He says, what is required is self-surrender, not a long daily grind. What he says, Vita, he says, do not think if you do work. You see, you just work, and run from here to there, da 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 da. It is, that's not going to save you. That's not your salvation. You have to surrender. And then he says, it's useless to rush about in error. Because then he says, because you think by running around and by rushing, you're gonna gain, you're gonna get benefits. But that's error. That's what he's saying here. Does it make sense to you? شهر تسلیم است نه کار دراز. What is required is self-surrender, not a long daily grind, not just going around, move and running around, running, being busy,
Mm.
busybody, being a busybody. That's the word in English. Don't be a busybody. Surrender,
Mhm.
because it's busybody would not benefit you. That's what basically he's
Mhm.
saying here. But he's saying it in a poetic way. But I'm making it simple for you. That's what he said. Basically, it's very simple. Does
Mm.
that make sense to you, Vito?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
don't be aimless. Find your purpose.
Exactly, exactly. Don't just go around. See, you've seen people. We have done it too, right? We have done it too, Beta. We go around running from this way, that way, going around like a crazy, like a rat race. Don't
Yeah.
don't get don't get trapped in the rat race. If you want to do it in English, that's the American English. Don't get trapped in the rat race. It's a rat race. We all in a rat race, my dear, aren't we? Yes. Just
Mhm.
don't get trapped in the rat race. Surrender. That's your that's your salvation. That's your path. This is all nonsense. That's what I say.
Mm. Okay, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, ma'am. Any other question, concerns?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you say a little more about the ego and how?
Okay.
Because he said something about the ego darkness or something of the night or something like that. And
What is night? I'm sorry. Where was
about
that?
ego, I think there was a paragraph about ego.
Ego, Roxana.
Like a
Ego.
dark,
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Beta. Go ahead, please.
no,
Beta is
like
gone.
the one, yeah, like the dark night. Yeah.
Yeah, something was there.
Okay. Ego is anything that relates to I.
Yes.
Anything.
So here it says, if you wish to shine like day, burn up your night
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
like
let's go there. Let's go there.
it was there just now.
Okay, I'm just gonna go. Oh, گر همی خواهی که بفرودی چو روز هستی همچو شب. If you wish to shine like day, burn up your like night like self-existence. Yeah, this is what he's saying. If you wanna shine like a sun, Roxana, right? If you want to become like a sun and shine your life and others, everybody around you. Because look at sun. Sun is lighting itself and everybody around it. Burn up burn up your night like self-existence, because our ego, our self-existence is dark,
Mm.
is like night. When he says night, because he's a masterful poet, he's a master poet. When he says, he's using a lot of analogy, a lot of symbolism. Hasti your self-existence is like a night. That's what it says. Burn it, burn up, burn it up, burn it up. Burn it up means if you want to make it very simple, get rid of it. This
Yeah, meaning like you dissolve, like just dissolve yourself. Like
dissolve yourself. Exactly.
don't think that you are something great.
No, you are not. We are not.
We're not
He's
great.
great. God is great. Everybody else is. Yeah. Another place. Uh, Rumi says, "Be enayat to ma hichim hich. Without your grace, we are nothing." And then another place he says, uh, "And nothing in nothing. We are nothing in nothing. We are truly nothing." Roxana, not you. I mean, all of us. I'm not trying to disrespect you, by the way. It's truly the ego is nothing. It's a thought. It's an illusion. Let me tell you, ego. Sufis say, and Rumi says it too. Sufi says ego is made of moving from one thought to the other. And let me give you an analogy so you get it. You have seen movies, right? Movies. If you look at a a movie film, it is all still pictures of of very little movement, right? If my hand goes from here to here in a movie, you have 24 frames of my hand, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. So still pictures creates a movement, right? Same thing. Thoughts, movement of thoughts makes the ego. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's a movement of thoughts. It's an illusion. I, as Akbar, don't exist. My dad used to say, God says, I did not give your name. Your parents gave your name. For God, we are all Him. For God, we all are Him. We're the same. We're as from His essence, from God's essence. This is the ego that created I, Beta, Akbar, Beta, Rakshana, Sarah. We are all same. We are the same. But you see, it's like, but there is no other way out of it. I mean, if my dad used to say to me, he said, Akbar, if I ask you, Akbar, please give me this glass of tea, he says, God, give me God, because everything is God. But that's not gonna work. I cannot communicate that way with nobody. So that's why name come up. Why we name things? Because we have to distinguish them to be able to live. But in reality, there is nothing. But God, there's nothing. I guess you got. I hope I explained it good. Ego doesn't exist, man.
Mhm.
Ego is an illusion, my dear. Illusion. That's why it says, Rumi says, don't fall in love with your illusion. fall in love with the real thing with capital R. The real thing is the lover. If you don't want to say God, because God has a bad rep, right? Unfortunately, it has a bad rep. It's okay. Somebody has a chat. You can type questions here. I can read for you. Thank you. Right. So so that because God, we say the lover, the light, the master of the universe, because unfortunately, the religious people made God's name bad. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Yeah. So the real thing, the one who exists and is worthy of our attention is the love. The what we are paying our attention day and night to the ego, which doesn't exist. That's the trouble we are in. That's a tragedy that we are in. That's what Rumi said. I'm not saying. Any other questions?
Can I ask one question? This is
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely, sir.
When it says,
By the way, I don't claim to know the answers. I'm just ask a question because all of us can contribute. I'm not an
oh yeah,
expert in any any shape or form.
yeah.
Go ahead.
When Molavi says, من خود چه کسم که وصل جویم از لطف تو هم همی کشانی.
Yes.
And it means this poem that who I am, that seek your, and this is you that have a favor to me and let me, and you dragging me towards yourself.
Yes.
And also in one other part of your words, and also Bida, it was talking about that we don't seek the God, God is seeking us and choose us. But there's one question for me that based on my belief, the base of creation of the world is love and freedom for human being. And the God, as says in Quran, says that, and also that the basic of the book of Mawlavi is based on Quran. And he says that Quran that I create all the words for you to the human being, and you can use that one. And this is for we use as a tool, go towards the God or go towards the devil and zalalat. And when Mawlavi here says that من خود چه کسم که وصل جویم از لطف تو هم همی کشانی. And also the other side, we have in Quran that the God says that I can choose and do a favor to everybody that I choose. This kind of translation doesn't exactly, I don't know if you can get the meaning of that one or no. This is question for me. That's so if the God have to choose us and let us go to him, so what will be me as a human being that the philosophy of my creation is battling to go toward the God and use this word as a tool, because anyhow, this is a tool. This word is not the whole the things, but is a tool that the God give us to use it for approaching to her and for become, because from other side, God, that I'm closer to you more than your veins of your neck. It means that God is inside us, is flowing inside us, and Jama Jama Hafiz, this is in our heart. And for me, the role of the human being, not as an ego, was that role for approaching to God.
Our role, if based on this, Sarah, based on
Yes.
this, من خود چه کسم که وسویم از لطفم کشانی. Who am I to connect to you? You are the one that with your grace and blessing attract me and connect me to your core, right? So then we have to allow him to attract us. That's it. Our role is to be open That when Rumi says open your heart, means be open. Let him do his job. Let God. I'm sorry. Let God do his job, which is attracting. Just
No,
allow.
because here it says that as لطف تو هم همی کشانی. It means that in English that this is you, that you have favored to me and you dragging me. It seems to me that here, kind of Molavi refused and rejected the responsibility of human being, because we have a responsibility. It's different from ego. But when we move based on what the God let us know, and because God says that I give you different things, and one of them is Petrat and Quran and many things. Of course, I know that the Sufi people, they think a little different about Quran and these things, but as a whole, I think that this part kind of refuse the role of human being, because we have to try, we have to do our best also. This is this is the mutual relation between the love and lover, and we are not separate from each other. I by myself, I think that I'm not separate from the God, and God is not separate from me, and I'm a part of God. That's is how I can use this word that will be a block between me and God, or no, how I can use this word that make the path very clear for me go towards the God.
Yeah. All right, Sarah Hanum.
Yes.
Our responsibility is to read Rumi that we're doing. That's our responsibility. Let me tell you the truth. That's it. You just open your heart, read Rumi, and remind yourself, that you are part of God all the time, and expand your heart and read Rumi, read Rumi, read Rumi. You'll be fine. That's our responsibility. I see what you're saying, but Bito, do you want to add? Bito is good at this. I know.
Yeah, yeah, I was saying this too. So yeah, basically every day when we reach out to others, when we consider the pain or sufferings of other people as our own pain and suffering, any kindness we engage in, any act of giving, because ego is about me, so taking. Opposite of it is giving to the other people. That's how our mind is getting cultivated by the light of the divine. Yeah, but it feels like I'm doing the kindness, but it's not us, because we only have this ego. It's actually the divine's light and power preparing our mind until the illusion is totally over, the night is totally over, and the sun has risen. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that what you're talking about is different from what I said, but even these words that you say, if I get the point correctly, I repeat, I want to be sure. You're talking that our responsibility is that we just be giver in the world, that we can receive the divine light inside ourselves.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call it responsibility. It's more about following the karma or law of cause and effect. We are like a farmer. So what do you want to have in your field? If you want to have a lot of strawberries, you love strawberries, you have to plant seeds of strawberries. You have to water them and add fertilizer. That's just the law of nature. So if we don't plant strawberry seeds, we don't get any strawberries. And it's a choice people make in life, depending on how much strawberries you want. And yeah, but the strawberries, of course, that's just the part of the journey, not the goal or the destination.
No, I mean that when you say that, we talk specifically about human being. That's a example, but I go to another example. I go directly to what we said at the beginning. When we talk with a human being about a human being, you believe that in life we shouldn't have we just have to take care of other people, and we have to be just giver.
So when we give to other people, we are actually bestowing upon ourselves. So benefiting other people benefits ourselves, because we begin to see, wait a minute, this is all illusion. Because when I die, I cannot take even 1 penny with me. And yet we are just collecting. So by giving, we come to realize that nothingness that Akbar was showing in the exhibit. We want to put at our core that nothingness.
So that's you think about nothingness, because I think that nothingness is correct, but my interpretation of nothingness is a little bit different, because I think that this is a mutual thing for me and my surrounding, because we should be balanced for giving and taker, being taker and giver. And the first responsibility is that against us, that we have to move ourselves based on the rule of the gods, based on what is our reality, not reality, this is our truth, because reality is not truth. Sometimes they are overlapping with truth, but sometimes they are not. I think that we should take care of ourselves and others. This is a mutual. If just we will be giver and giver and giver, it kind of again deny ourselves. This ourselves is different from ego. And from my point of view, through this mutual two-way lane path, we can reach to truth or to the light, divine light.